Pokémon Black and White, the first games in the main series to feature a region not based on Japan. Instead, it takes place in Unova, a region partially inspired by New York. And I say partially because it really is an amalgamation of various ideas from throughout the United States of America, as well as a lot of general Pokemon fantasy things. Yeah, the overall shape resembles Manhattan in New York City, but show me where exactly Lentimas Town is supposed to be. Honestly, I love this idea because it really does become a greatest hits sort of region. So yeah, what I want to talk about today is Lentimas Town, because I grew up in the general southwest area of the US. While adobe houses obviously aren't super common anymore, especially where I live now, they're still an important piece of iconography and are instantly recognizable as being from a certain area. This is more of an Arizona and New Mexico kind of thing, specifically at least in relation to Unova's inspiration. Though for as much as I love this place, it definitely is one of the most underutilized and underrated in the entire series. Being one of the many locations added in the sequels of Pokemon Black and White 2, not as many people will have experienced them, because of how little these sold compared to other Pokemon games, despite the fact that they weren't an alternate version but were instead a brand new story. And with the prices on the secondary market, there will be less and less people who get to witness Lentimas Town for themselves. So anyway, when you play through the main story of the games, Skylar will bring you here on an airplane after you defeat her in battle. Being a quaint little town built on the shadow of the volcano of Reversal Mountain, it really only serves as a stepping stone to the eastern part of Unova. But as I mentioned a bit with the theming, it really is one of my favorite cities in the entire franchise. And the music is just so perfect for the setting, it's such a bop. I could honestly listen to it forever. Though as much as I want to explore beyond the Pokemon Center, there are literally only 2 other buildings that you can enter. Inside one house, we learn a little more about the town. Because it's so secluded from everything else, they rely heavily on deliveries that are brought to them through the airplane. This one old guy talks about how he was born here and he plans to die here, never going anywhere else. That's like a lot more outright than what we hear anyone in, say, Pacific Log say, though he doesn't seem to be unhappy about it. I think it fits with the overall vibes of the town being so unlike anything in the region. Of course they'd want to preserve their way of life as much as possible. And in the other house there's a move tutor who will accept payment in shards. But after that, we've done just about everything there is to do here. Of course, there's an entire route next to the town that leads to Reversal Mountain and the rest of the region, but in terms of the actual town itself, it really is just so small, which is really odd for a place this late in the story. Normally we'd see locations that are just meant to be seen as you pass through early on in the games, but not so much after you have 6 gym badges. I feel like cities got a bit more expansive in the 3D games, so all of that combined makes Lentimas Town one of the most forgotten cities in the Pokemon games. I mean, it wasn't even shown off in the anime. Literally every other brand new town that was added in Black 2 and White 2 was shown off in the anime at some point, except for this one. Thankfully though, the trading card game does give us some more views of just outside the town in the background of some Pokemon cards released in the time. I just love these all, especially the Sandshrew. It really captures the look and feel. And all the hype of potentially getting a Unova remake or Legend style prequel, though probably not anytime this generation and more likely the next, I really do hope we get another shot at Lentimas Town, because I feel that we could expand the idea even more and I'd love to see a bit more life brought to it. Yeah, it's meant to be a location next to Reversal Mountain to serve as a fly point to easily access it, but it's also meant to be a quiet place where people live a very different life. So populating it with more NPCs and houses would, bring some life to it. Although maybe the reason this town feels so dead is because just off the outskirts we can find the Strange House. This is one of the most infamous spooky locations in any Pokemon game because it's oddly one of the most fleshed out. And this might be the main reason that anybody would remember Lentimas Town. Though because it is technically not part of the town, I'm not sure how to categorize it. With the overall look, it was obviously owned by one of the residents, but with it now being abandoned, maybe the road to it from town has become less maintained. Anyway, this place is great and I'll definitely tear it apart at a later time, but in concept it fits the theme very well, being an even more forgotten place already in one of the least accessible settlements of the region. And the whole feeling of a specific building in an old town kind of place is something we see in real life all the time. But yeah, I cannot understate how this is the best haunted location in any Pokemon game and helps to tie everything together in Lentimas Town. In the future, I would love to see a more populated Lentimas Town, and heck, bringing it into the anime as well wouldn't be a bad idea. I think it would also be cool to have some more appropriate Pokemon in the surrounding area. Including even more of a side quest too would be pretty cool, because again, when you're playing through the main story, there's basically no reason not to just go through right into Reversal Mountain. Again, there is the Strange House right next to it, but I think it would be great to see even more happen in the actual town itself. Or we could even have more NPCs in the town talking about the history of the Strange House to better tie it into the lore. I've just always really loved this place and thought it was a great addition to the Unova region in Black 2 and White 2. In fact, I'm a big fan of just about every new location added in these games. They were truly peak. But when it comes to Lentimas Town, it just feels like it was really underutilized for what it was, in both the location and the theming, because we had never really seen a place like this in Pokemon before or since then. So let me know what you thought about Lentimas Town in the comments below and what you would like to see going forward. Thank you to every channel member for your continued support, including the Great Gators, Koi13, Errors Away, ELR027, DeAndre, Zenaido, Jamarcus Nixon, Frix, Boss Dragon, Justin Dowes, Ben's Quizzin, Mazhar Siddiqui, Cemetery Hill, Pastel Blood, Cosmo Zero, Mr. Saturn, Rainfrux, Cheezit62, Alex Switch, Shiny Hunter, Lockadox, GatorKid509, TF, Mathaclock947, Taijirai, Justin R, Phantom, and Quago. If you would like to support, see your name here, get access to emotes for comments, live streams, and sometimes early videos, you can become a channel member today. You can also follow me on Twitter as well for more memes. Anyway, this is GatorX, and I'll catch you all later.
In Pokemon Black 2 and Pokemon White 2, there are new areas to explore. And new gym leaders to battle. The new Pokemon Black version 2 and Pokemon White version 2. You can discover the new in 2. Playable on Nintendo DS and 3DS systems. Rated E for everyone.